Hey, it's Todd, Red River Tactical and Outdoors. Today I'm out at the range and I'm going to do an update review on my Canik. I was going to do it just on the TP9SF Elite because this is the one that I had trouble with, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it on both of them, do an update review on both of the Caniks and tell you how they're going. I know somebody on this is going to get on here and say it's not pronounced Canik, it's pronounced Janik. Well, this is America. That's a C, and these are my guns, so I pronounce them Canik. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about these guns. This is the TP9SF full size, and this gun, up to this date, has 3,000 rounds through it. I try to keep both of them about the same to do the reviews, but this gun has 3,000 rounds through it, and for the gun itself, it's not had any issues whatsoever. It's fired every time it's pulled the trigger, so it's not had any issues whatsoever. I have had issues with the magazines I'll get into a little later. It does have the Streamlight TLR1 on it. I keep this gun usually in my truck and not had any issues. The TP9SF Elite, I have had a few issues with this. And there's a video, I'll post a link to the video below, you can go look at the video. But what it was, about after 700 rounds, the trigger quit resetting correctly. It would feel like it would reset, but it wouldn't reset and wouldn't fire. So we sent this, called Century Arms. Century Arms gave me an address, sent it back. I thought I was sending it back to Canik or Century Arms. I didn't. It went to Chattanooga Gun Works in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They replaced the trigger bar and the firing pin block in the gun. I'll show it to you. Take the gun apart. What I did find interesting was, I think you can see that, this is the trigger bar that they replaced. They polished the trigger bar on both sides at Chattanooga Gun Works. I did not do that. They polished that trigger bar. And then they replaced, this gun's a little dirty because I've been shooting it. They replaced the firing pin block, which is right down here. You see that? And the gun has run, I've run the gun to death since I've got it back to make sure that it wasn't going to have that problem. And I've ran probably 3,000 rounds through it since I've got it back and not had a single issue. So this gun, the Canik TP9SF Elite, I've got about 3,700 rounds through it right now, and after that issue was fixed, hadn't had any problems. So 3,000 rounds, no problem. Now, the problem I am having with Canik, and I'll tell you why that I don't carry these guns on a daily basis, is the Metgar magazines are not reliable in these Caniks. As long as you don't get them dirty, they're okay, they're reliable. But what you can tell after 3,000 rounds through each one of these guns, this magazine spring in there has lost a lot of its tension. And what the problem that I'm having is if you're out training, I've run these guns through 2 or 3 classes. If you're out training and it's a little bit muddy or a lot of dirt on the range and you're dropping the mags, doing mag changes, those mags get dirty and they stop feeding. The spring in there gets caught, the bullets don't come up and feed in the gun very well. You can take the mags apart, clean them out, they'll do good again until they get dirty. So that's the problem I have with the guns. It's not the guns itself. The guns itself runs great. It's those Metgar magazines that are, in my opinion, complete junk. I wish Canik would get a better magazine. But other than that, the guns are good. I love the guns. Just don't care much for the magazines. A lot of people don't like people in America shooting Caniks because of their issues with Turkey and all that stuff. I don't pay any attention to that. If you bought products based on what the country's government was doing, there's a lot of products out there you wouldn't buy. That being set aside, Caniks, they're good guns. Wish they would improve on the magazines. The magazines are fine as long as they don't get dirty. Once they get dirty, you will have issues. Keep the magazines clean, and you should be good to go. So that's the update. A lot of rounds through these guns, and I will say this: they are out of every gun I got, they're the most accurate guns that I own. I own Glocks. I got the Smith & Wesson M&Ps, and out of every gun I've had, these are the most accurate. I shoot them better than any gun I've ever had, so I really like them. Just wish the magazines was a little more reliable. But that's the update on the Caniks. If you got any questions, comments, drop them below. Be glad to hear them. Be glad to answer any questions that I can for you. Again, this is Todd, Red River Tactical and Outdoors, reminding you to be safe, always be ready.